Good morning. Welcome to the Sky Spirit channel. I hope you're having an amazing morning so far, if it's morning where you are. If you're with me live or if you're watching this today, then I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. If you've come across this video at a later date, then take the messages, because I always like to think that spirit work in mysterious ways, and if the algorithm has brought you here, there could be something you need to hear. So it's almost like you could be led here to hear something very specific that you're meant to hear, that will be good for your higher purpose and higher self. So if that's you, then stick with me. If you are watching live, then you can put questions into the chat. Subscribe first, stick a question into the live chat. I'll be happy to answer it when I get to the end of the daily interpretations. You can also email me questions to naomi@skyspirit.co.uk, and do mention if you'd rather stay anonymous. Other than that, then it's pick a number between 1 and 12, and let's see what the day ahead has in store for us. So I'll just lay the cards out and we can start. As I said, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out. I'm loving doing these tarot readings every morning live. And subscribing means you can ask live questions. So if you want to have some extra help on your day and you've got something specific in mind, you can ask me in the morning. If you subscribe and put your notification button on, then when I go live, you'll receive a notification. And if on that particular day you want to ask a question, you can drop in and ask it. Right, so for today, choose a number between 1 and 12. You can actually choose 2 or 3 if you want, but definitely 1 to start with. And today we're going to start the reading with number 7. If you chose number 7, it's like at the moment you're feeling like you can't move on from something. You could be feeling quite stuck in a particular pattern of behavior, or stuck with somebody, or stuck in an emotion, because it's cups. It's to do with your feelings, how you feel about something. And when the 8 of cups is that way up, it's quite positive because you're moving on. This way up suggests there's that block and it's holding you back, and it's meaning that you've stayed too long in a position where you should have moved on. So you need to have a look around you and identify. You probably know what this is really quite strongly, because it would be quite apparent to you. So it's something that's been bothering you. So make an assessment of that situation and then work out a plan how you can achieve the positive aspect of this card, which is being able to walk away, move away from a particular emotional situation, and go forward to pastures new, to a better place. Okay, what is holding you back? Number 8. Number 8, you've got the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is a major arcana card, so it means that he is. It means he has a lot of influence, and it's a big change. The Hanged Man can mean almost like, if you imagine like Buddhist monks and things like that, the way that they will sometimes like meditate for long periods of time in the same position, or hanging upside down, or whatever it is, to achieve enlightenment. So the Hanged Man, even though he looks a bit daft there, what he's actually doing is he's enduring something in order to achieve enlightenment. So it feels like, if you are number 8, it feels like you're really feeling like you're going through something and you're struggling with something, but there is an end point there which is really important to you and really worthwhile achieving. So what this card is a reminder of is that although you might feel like you're putting a lot into something, or sacrificing something, or really struggling emotionally to deal with a situation, but nonetheless dealing with it anyway, if you're suspending action because you're hanging back, to get a better understanding of something, then you're doing the right thing, because this card says to us that it's not the time to sort of jump into action. It's not the time to go unprepared into something. It's time to accept it might be a period of hard work, period of sacrifice, period of feeling emotionally stilted a little bit, but it is the time to just hang around and wait for the energy to change. And then you'll be in a better position to push forward with the knowledge that you've acquired during this period of suspension. So whilst you've been hanging around. Number six, you have the Queen of Cups reversed. So we've got two choices here, really. So the Queen of Cups can be reversed, can be somebody who's struggling to connect with their feelings. So it could be that you're shutting something out. Hi, Andrea, in the chat there. It could be like you're pushing something down, you're not allowing something out. So if this is you, it's like there's an emotional repression of some feeling that you're experiencing, or sort of an emotional outlet is needed. So you need to regain the energy of the emotional open-minded, forthcoming Queen of Cups, because at the moment it feels like you're holding it in, and you're not being honest with yourself about it. So you could be pretending on the outside that everything's fine and you're exactly the same sort of jovial, good-hearted, nurturing human being that you are, but you're actually feeling quite put on a little bit, and like it's you're having to bite your tongue almost in a situation, and that emotional feeling is that you're having to push those emotions down. So what I want you to do today, if you chose number 6, is to identify that situation, is to look at what emotion is inside you that needs to come out. How can you be the Queen of Cups upright, who is an emotionally whole, rounded, expressive human being? Okay, what is it that you need to turn on its head? And once you've done that, then you can work on how you're going to turn it on its head. But the first step, of course, is to identify where the issue is. Okay, number one, you've got the 7 of Swords, and that is reversed as well. So the 7 of Swords is a bit of a tricky card, and it's a trickster card, because it can indicate dishonesty, and it can indicate sort of deception, or even things being taken from you by theft, that sort of level of deception. That's when it's that way up. When it's this way up, it's a bit more tricky, and it sort of indicates that you could be feeling like things are being taken from you, and it's making you feel a bit weak, and it's making you feel like somebody is they're taking advantage, they're overreaching the mark, they're taking what should be yours. Now, that might not necessarily be material possessions. It could be like they're taking your headspace, or they're dominating your thoughts, sort of thing. So it feels like you feel dominated, you feel like giving up in a particular situation. It's making you feel weak and not empowered. So the advice from this card for you today, number 1, is to again identify what that situation is, if you can. If it's just more of a feeling than actually then pinpointing a situation, then it's time to assess your strengths. So it's time to sit down and think about, it's really hard to do this and to be honest with yourself sometimes, like, what are you good at? What are you good at? And okay, you've got weaknesses, but what things do you really shine at? Where do your talents lie? And if that is in something not work related, creative, or in socializing, being with people, making other people happy, where is that thing that you really are good at? Okay, and try to move more towards that, to empower yourself to deal with this sort of almost like invasion of the body snatchers situation that's going on, with somebody trying to take over, almost like tell you how to think and feel about something. So I want you to regain that sense of self and that sense of empowerment and what you're really good at, where your talents shine. Think about, if you can't think about it from your own point of view, imagine that you're sitting with a best friend or somebody that loves you dearly and sees you for exactly who you are. Now, you don't need to tell anybody about this conversation, because it's just simply going on in your imagination. But imagine what they would say to you if they had to describe what you were really good at. And I want you to listen to that really closely and then move towards that point to regain your strength, because you're worth more than allowing this person to keep on top of you mentally. Okay, let me know if that resonates with you, because that's a really interesting and unusual card. Right, okay, number 2, you've got strength reversed. Really strange. Every morning, like the cards that have similar meanings, like come out next to each other. This means, it can mean like you're feeling weak. It can mean that you have a lack of commitment to something, a lack of conviction. And this could be that something you were really set on, something that you felt strongly about, something that you were very positive about, now feels like, was that really a good idea? Or I can see the negatives of this now. And you're being brought to a position of weakness because you're losing the strength of your conviction about this particular thing. So this card, number 2, is inviting you to regain your strength. So just accept that today is one of those days when you're going to feel a little bit off kilter, and you're going to feel like a little bit negative about stuff. But just try to understand for today that it's not about changing that perspective today. It's about understanding that it is a negative perspective, because 2 events can be exactly the same. And depending on what frame of mind that you're in, you'll look at it from 2 completely polarized points of view. So you might look at it really negatively. Next day, you might look at it really positively. And today just feels like one of those days where your strength is, it's in your boots and you feel a bit weak, and you're feeling like, you don't really know your own mind. You're not really sure of your convictions anymore. So today, this card is asking you just to sit back and let that ride for today, okay? Because you're not going to change that perspective. But what you do need to sort of work on is the fact that understand that will change, and just ride it out while you're feeling so negative or underwhelmed about something, shall we say. And what you'll see is that when that energy actually returns fully, then your perspective could change, could turn on its head. Okay, let me know again if that resonates for you. Number 11. Number 11, you've got the 9 of Cups reversed. So this card in this orientation usually means that something that you've been trying to achieve isn't going to turn out how you wanted it to be, ideally. All right. Now, this might seem like negative, and it can be if you take it like that, because if you've got your heart set on something and then it doesn't turn out how you wanted it to, then that can feel like a bit of a blow for sure. However, because this is still like, it has a positive energy about it, this card, and it's inviting you to turn the energy on its head. So it's not saying like no, definitely no, yes, definitely yes. This is no, but the energy for yes is there. So it's like, okay, right, it feels like you're going to get a knockback over this. All right, it feels like whatever you're thinking, I wish this would work out, isn't going to work out how you want it to. All right, but the energy is still there for it to work out for you, just not in the way that you might have imagined. All right, so what I want you to do when you're under the influence of this card is just to put a bit of trust in the universe. And that's saying, what is it? If it was meant to be, it will be, comes into play. So you're just going to have to surrender your willpower a little bit about this situation. Slightly emotional because it's cups. So it could be a relationship. If it's not an actual relationship, it could be how you feel about something. So something you feel strongly about. So now I've lost my train of thought there because I digressed. Yeah, so it's, what was it? Sit back and just, put your trust in the universe. Surrender yourself to understanding that the universe is going to see this manifest in the best way that is possible for you at this time. All right, so bear that in mind. And it's a really poignant remember that sometimes we just can't push things through and get exactly what we want. We just can't do it, because otherwise we'd all be on the same path for sure, because we'd all pretty much want similar things, we'd all be having the most amazing lives, and they'd become pretty empty pretty quickly because we'd have nothing to weigh up. We'd have no balance. So what was once good would become the norm. And then where are we? So, so the idea is to just accept that there will be this sort of manifestation is coming, just not in the way that you expect it, or not in the same situation, if that makes sense. I mean, it's really impossible to go further into more details about what that particular thing might be because we're looking at one card, but that is the energy of that card for you today. So just try to let go of that control a little bit. Don't push it through. Give up, surrender to the universe, and trust that it will work itself out. It will come out in the wash, as my grandmother used to say. Number 12, good card. You've got the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is often about money management, and it can be your savings, your finances, security, your resources, things that are material and around you and keep you safe and keep you fed and watered and housed and things like that. So your material possessions and worth. This is a good card, and it says that you're doing a good job at the moment. You might not realize it, but you're either doing a good job or you're improving how you deal with your money and the way that you're spending. So if you've been sort of risk taking a little bit financially lately, then that sort of out of control energy is starting to sort of dissipate, and you're starting to return to a good level, and a level where you're going to be able to manage your money better and manage your resources better. And this card as well is a little bit of a warning against the opposite of it. And the opposite is that situation where money's just running through your fingers. Yeah, you can't hold on to it. It's in one hand, out the other. You might be overspending. You might be spending on the wrong things. You might be buying things just to make yourself feel happier because you're, having a bit of downtime. So keep a check of that. So this is it's a positively aspect card for you, saying you're doing really well, or you're working towards doing really well with managing that side of your life better. But it's also just a nod to the fact that beware of returning to or entering that phase where the money is falling through your fingers and you're not keeping your resources close to you. Okay, so protect your resources. Number 3 card, just to bear in mind as well that when I upload this live to YouTube, I put timestamps on it so that if you don't want to sit through all the digressions and me rabbiting on, you can just click on the timestamp for your card in the description and you'll be taken directly to it. So what we have here is number 3 card, and that was justice. So justice, if you're involved in a legal situation, this is justice reversed. So it is indicative of perhaps a decision that wouldn't be in your favor. It can also mean false accusations or somebody talking behind your back, or somebody who's sharing a biased opinion of you. So it's very much like the judgment card. But whereas judgment can be a little bit more about self-judgment, justice is usually an external form of judgment. So if you've chosen number 3 card, what this is suggesting for you to do is to have a look around you. And is there somebody who is judging you negatively, or is there a situation where justice isn't playing out for you? Is it something where justice hasn't been done? Is there something that's on the back of your mind that you need to see through to a conclusion? You need closure. Maybe you need some form of retribution, whatever that might be. Maybe there's something that needs to be done in order for this to feel finalized for you. So is this a person for you? Is somebody treating you unfairly, talking about you behind your back, being judgmental? Or is this a situation where justice needs to be found? So if you can identify whether it's a person or a situation, then what this card is advising you to do is to address that situation. Because at the moment, with it being a reversal, it's like it's telling you that, yeah, it's there on your shoulder. So it's playing on your mind Okay, because if it wasn't in your sphere of influence, then it wouldn't come up. Okay, so if it had come up like this, it was like it wouldn't have come up at all, because the situation wouldn't be to do with that. If you see what I mean. So it's drawing your attention to the fact that there is this injustice by being reversed. So it's indicating that it is something that you need to address because it is important to you. So if you've been putting something to the back of your mind, or perhaps you've been telling people that it hasn't bothered you, it doesn't bother me, I'm not bothered, whatever, but deeply it is actually bothering you, then it's time to maybe unravel that a little bit, to unpick it, to maybe there's a confrontation needed, or maybe you just need to come to terms with something. But work on that, because it feels like it's quite an important thing to get put behind you so that you can move on to calmer waters. Number four, you've got the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles is about being in the sort of the bliss of your own home. It's about being independent and being able to do things for yourself, prosperity, getting things seen through to completion. But I love this image because it's like this lady is dancing around in a garden. She has a pet bird. She's happy as Larry. So it's like, this is you at home or in the garden today, or even at work. It should feel like, you're on a bit of a high. You're feeling really good. You feel like you've got all your ducks in a row. No, that could be quite a pun, couldn't it? Because she's holding a bird. So you've got all your little birds in a row here, and life just feels good. And if you're thinking, no, that is not how life feels for me today, you've got that completely wrong, then I want you to remember that the card is giving you the message about this is how it could be for you today. And all it takes is a small change of mindset, or to emotionally allow yourself to experience the happiness that's around you. Because I think sometimes we get stuck in a cycle of guilt or blame, or expecting to feel responsible for things, and negative about things, almost, that we're almost self-programming. So on occasions like today, Mr. or Mrs. number, or Miss or Master number 4, it's like giving yourself permission to have that childlike enjoyment of life and to appreciate what's going on around you, particularly as it pertains to your home life and those around you. So family, pets, loved ones. If you live by yourself and you're more than happy with your own company, then this is a card that tells you why not really treat yourself well? Why not go home and have that nice relaxing bath, or just cook yourself a nice meal? Just appreciate that time. Spend time almost in mindfulness, actually realizing how good it is, rather than just, we seem to go onto autopilot, don't we? And we don't stop to really be thankful for what we have and to experience a moment. So just try to do that today. Number 4. Number 5, beautiful card. You have the World. The World talks about the completion of a cycle. It's something, a big part of your life, because it's a major arcana card. So it's a big thing in your life that you've just accomplished, some success, something has been seen through to completion. So it could be something that you've worked really hard on. It could be something where you've had to struggle against something. Could be where you've been in competition for it sometimes comes up when somebody's waiting to hear about a job, and they've put a lot of effort into it, and it's like, yeah, it's going to complete and it's going to be favorable. So this energy is around you today. It's like you're tying up the loose ends. The cycle is over. It's time, when one door closes, the other one opens. It's time to look forward to your next project with that renewed sense of confidence that you've achieved through being so successful in what's actually currently or just been taking place. Now, again, if you're thinking that doesn't sound like me, perhaps you're not seeing it, because sometimes if you've got a negative viewpoint of yourself, you find it difficult to actually give yourself credit for what you've achieved. And if you spoke to somebody who knows you well, or who knows of you well even, and who has your best interests at heart, if you ask them, to tell you honestly, they would probably come up with things and you'd be like, oh gosh, yeah, you're right, I did achieve that and I did do that, and you just hadn't thought of it like that. So I guess this card is calling for you to do some real honest self-reflection, but really trying to look at yourself in that positive viewpoint and look at your actions and achievements from the point of view of somebody who has your best interests at heart. And when we look at ourselves like that, it's like we're putting ourselves in the position of our higher self. So you're looking subjectively at yourself, but also from that position. I always imagine it just above my crown chakra. It's like you're looking down at yourself as if you're watching a movie and seeing what you've accomplished. And sometimes that can be as sort of seemingly easy as getting out of bed and making your bed in the morning. But sometimes when you're feeling really down, that is an achievement in itself. So, or it could be something like, you know, you've just completed a marathon. Whatever achievement that is an achievement for you. So take the credit for it and bask in the glory that this card is going to bring you today if you allow it and invite it into your energy. Right, number 10. Number 10, you've got the 7 of Cups reversed. So the 7 of Cups is about reversed, is about feeling that you don't have a choice. So you feel like your hands are tied and you feel like you've run out of options, and maybe you're being driven down a path where it feels like there's only one conclusion and it's like you can't do anything about it. So this card really indicates that you are feeling a little bit out of control in a situation, and you are feeling like those doors are slamming in your face and you keep trying different things, or you're considering different options, and then bang, they're gone. It's as if somebody's taken them from you, and you're being tunneled towards a conclusion, and it might not necessarily be the conclusion that you'd actually imagined when the energy was in a better position and all those choices seem to be in front of you. So really the message of this card is to go with the flow. All right, at this very moment, there's not much you can do about the current situation with regard to these choices being removed from you. But what you can do is you can change how you react to that feeling of those decisions being taken from you. So when we feel like our choices are being limited, or the decisions are being taken out of our hands, we can feel very defensive, you know, and it can feel very negative, and it can feel like you're being dominated by somebody else or something else, or you can feel like the victim of fate. All right, but what I'd like you to try and do today, number 10, is to change victim to victorious. Okay, so today you're not a victim. Today you're just reconsidering your options. So you're having a look, deciding which ones are still viable, which ones they're gone, they're past. Put them to bed, put them behind you. It's no point dwelling. What is it? No point something over spilt milk or something like that. I can never remember these sayings that I remember the first bit of. So anyway, there's no point looking back. You have to look forward. So spend today doing that and wait for the energy to return to those choices ahead of you. Okay, because yes, you are on a almost like a treadmill at the moment, where it seems like that destination is preordained and you're going to arrive there regardless of what you do. But just go with that stream today and allow what's happening to happen. Reassess where you think you've lost opportunities, because it could be that you've missed things or that things have been misrepresented to you. And then hopefully over the next 24 hours, the energies will start to move in a more positive way for you. And it'll change your mindset as much as anything. Right. Number 9. Is this the last one? 6, 7, 8, 9. It is number 9. I've got no questions to answer today either. Number 9, I said, isn't it? Number 9, you've got the 4 of Swords. So the 4 of Swords is about, you need a break, man. This is like you've put too much energy into a lot of things, or you could have been spinning too many plates or taking on too much. And like you can tell this by the image on the card. This man here is out for the count, and he's out for the count because he's been in battle and he's been dealing with too much. And this is you. It feels like you're battle weary. So you've had to push through an awful lot of stuff recently, and you've had to deal with perhaps conflict or just things that didn't work out right. You know, when nothing goes easy and you've got to sort of keep on top of everything, or you've taken too much on, or you've dealt with other people's problems, or you feel like there's an insurmountable problem that you've had to put so much thought and energy into that you're just exhausted with it all now. Well, this card is advising you that it's time to draw back from that and to have that period of rest, to have that period of deep sort of recovery, healing time, assessing what you've been through. So yes, some reflection about what you've been working on, but understanding that you cannot pour from an empty vessel. So in order to move forward, you're going to have to regain your strength. So you're going to need this period of deep relaxation and recovery. And it's funny, when you're one of these people that sort of juggles a lot and tends to be very busy in life and take on a lot, periods of calmness and periods of rest can feel like, you know, you're taking your foot off the gas, and it's you know, it's almost like negative. You're like, why? I'm not doing something, I'm lazy, or I can't, you know, I can't just sit around doing nothing. But what this card is telling you is that rest time is so important, because without it, you can't keep continuing to take on things and to achieve things, because you're going to run out of gas entirely. Okay, so it's time to put your vehicle in for some maintenance and a service. All right, and by that I mean your body into some kind of recovery and sleep stage. So and emotionally and mentally. So just take that time out and just regroup, because the energy of the card is about moving forward, is about dealing with things. It's about using your intellect to achieve. But it's saying that in order to do that, in order to embrace the power of swords, which is your intellect, your engagement, your ability to do things, to manage conflict, in order to do that, you are at a time when you need to take some time out. Right, well, that concludes today. If you're watching and you're not subscribed to my channel, then please do, because then you can ask live questions in the chat, and we'll try to start doing some free readings in the morning after this as well for subscribers. So have a lovely day, whatever you're doing. Think positively and stay weird.